No man should hold a 2025 pardon in one hand and the Fifth Amendment in the other, not unless the law has made a hard knot. That knot now bears the name of Dr. Anthony Fauci. A pardon seems to close one door. The Fifth Amendment tells a man he need not open another. The knot must be untied before anger cuts it. A Senate committee has voted along party lines to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress. The matter came after he declined to answer more questions. Those questions dealt with the COVID-19 response and the origin of the disease. He said he had answered many questions before. On advice of counsel, he claimed the Fifth Amendment. Picture the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee room with Senator Rand Paul at the chair. The committee chair says the issue is not Dr. Fauci's old policy views. He says the issue is refusal to obey a lawful order. Think of Dr. Fauci at the hearing table, choosing silence on advice of counsel. His lawyer, David Schertler, calls the vote a bid to punish a right, a claim that a right should not be turned into a crime. The resolution directs Vice President Vance, as President of the Senate, to certify the action, a contempt paper set before him. That paper may go to the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. The Justice Department would then decide whether to bring a criminal case. But if a pardon closes old danger, why would silence still claim a seat? The answer lies in time and in new words. President Joe Biden gave Dr. Fauci a preemptive pardon. It covered conduct from 2014 to January 2025. That fact matters. Yet a witness may fear that fresh testimony brings fresh peril. The pardon may guard old acts. It may not guard every new word. If a man speaks today, those words may be judged today. If he makes a false step, the old shield may not cover the new wound. That is why the law must move with care. A court may need to draw that line. Picture the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia reading the referral in a quiet office. That office is not a place for spite. It is a place for law. Here is the larger question. Can Congress seek truth if a witness may simply refuse? Congress writes laws. Congress spends the people's money. Congress must learn facts before it can mend wrongs. Picture Article 1 open on a Senate desk with words of power and duty. If Congress is made blind, the people are made blind with it. Yet another question rises beside it. Can a free person remain free if the state can force words from his own mouth? Picture the Fifth Amendment printed in plain type. No person shall be made a witness against himself. That shield was not made for the loved alone. It was made for the hated, the feared, and the accused. The danger is that both claims may be right in part. Congress may have a duty to ask. A witness may have a right to refuse. That is not weakness. That is the design of liberty. The founders knew this and built a government of divided strength. One branch asks. One branch judges. One branch may pardon. No branch should rule alone. The pardon power is strong. So is the power to seek facts. So is the right to keep silent when law allows. Each one can guard liberty. Each one can also be abused. What happens if Congress cannot press a witness at all? Then oversight turns to advice, and a summons turns to a plea. What happens if Congress may press without a line? Then inquiry turns to force, and the citizen grows small. The hard work is not choosing power or right. The hard work is keeping both under law. Criminal contempt is a sharp tool. Federal law names it in 2 U.S.C. 192 and 194. Law has teeth. Yet teeth must not bite because crowds cheer. Recent cases show the teeth can close. Steve Bannon and Peter Navarro went to prison after contempt convictions. Their cases were not the same as this one, but they show that Congress can demand more than words. Senator Gary Peters warns that punishment may not bring the answer Congress seeks. That warning deserves a hearing, too. If contempt is used only to punish, it may chill the next witness. If contempt is never used, oversight may die of soft hands. The line is narrow and a free people must walk it. This struggle did not begin with one doctor, one chair, or one disease. Congress has long used hearings to ask hard questions. The Supreme Court, in McGrain v. Doherty, said Congress may seek facts needed for law. That is sound. A lawmaker without facts is like a pilot without a star. But the same High Court later warned that inquiry has limits. Think of the House Un-American Activities Committee, with one witness alone before many lawmakers. Think of McCarthy-era hearings, where fear could sit beside the witness chair. A question aimed at law may drift into shame. Picture a court page marked Watkins versus United States, where a high court named a limit. That limit matters. Congress may ask for the people. It may not roam for sport. It may not turn a hearing into a stage for ruin. There is also the wound left by the pandemic. It touched homes, schools, hospitals, and churches. Many want answers about what was known. Many want answers about what was missed. Some say a lab leak explains the origin. Others point to animal spillover. Picture a 2024 cell study map, with samples near a Wuhan market stall where live animals were sold. Picture a 2025 World Health Organization report weighing animal spillover as the stronger proof. Yet missing data from China leaves doubt for many. No direct infected animal sample has ended the dispute. Here, truth asks for patience. It asks for records. It asks for clear speech from public men. It asks that doubt be met with proof, not scorn. The hardest task is to seek truth without making doubt a crime. Doubt can serve truth when it is tied to care, records, and law. It becomes poison when tied to pride. Science grows by questions. Self-rule does the same. So what should a steady citizen ask for? Ask Congress to be firm, not cruel. Ask witnesses to be honest, not proud. Ask courts to draw lines when rights and duty collide. Ask the Justice Department to judge by law, not by heat. Picture the Justice Department file, where a criminal case may start or stop. If Congress needs answers, it can ask narrow questions. It can seek immunity. It can use civil courts. It can make a clear record. It can show the country why each answer matters. Picture a senator asking one narrow question, not 10 broad charges. Picture counsel pausing before a witness answers, knowing one word may carry weight. That is not delay for its own sake. That is the slow work of a free system. A full Senate vote may be asked. A court challenge may follow. None of that is failure. That is how law moves when passion is loud. No public officer is above inquiry. No witness is beneath the Constitution. A pardon is not a crown. The Fifth Amendment is not a trick. Contempt is not a club. Each has a purpose. Each has a limit. The nation is safest when power keeps its purpose and respects its limit. The path is hard because it asks restraint from those who want victory. It asks patience from those who want quick proof. It asks fairness toward a man one may distrust. It asks courage to defend a right even when anger wants it cast aside. Still, free government was not made for easy tempers. It was made for hard hours. It was made for grief, doubt, pride, fear, and deep dispute. If Congress seeks truth with care and witnesses claim rights with candor, law can still guide the ship. If citizens demand both answers and fairness, public trust can be built again. The Republic can be saved. Then hope is not a soft thing. It is a stern duty. When the hard question comes to your own door, will you choose truth with restraint